Webidex, everything about web hosting. Welcome to Webidex. Previously on Webidex, we discussed about things that you should consider when choosing a right domain name for your website. Hosting is a must-have for anyone who expect to start a website. But for many who are just starting out, the question of how to choose the right web hosting service is one of the most important. In today's video, let's talk about everything about web hosting. What is a web hosting? The main and first question that arises for someone who does not know about web hosting is, what is web hosting? Simply put, a web host is a service that helps an individual or organization add their website to the internet. Here, we have a web hoster or web hosting service provider. This web hosting service provider, as a business, provides us with the technology and services needed to publish a website on the internet. In other words, in order for a website to be published on the internet, we have to store the data related to our website or the files of our website on a server connected to the internet, that is, on a computer connected to the internet. Therefore, web hosting is simply the space we get on this server. Also, the web hosting service provider will allow us to access one of their servers and charge us for it. How does a web hosting work? As I mentioned before, the data files related to our website are stored in the space that we get from the web hosting service provider. Then when a person requests access to our website through our web address, our host will provide the required data. This means that our web address is connected to the computer server that stores the data on our website, and the web browser displays the data we have stored on the website to the visitor. Additionally, the service provider gives you a control interface to manage the web hosting you have acquired. This is called cPanel. This allows you to make the necessary changes within the space allotted to you and use the facilities provided. How to get a web hosting? There are thousands of web hosting service providers on the internet. If you want to get web hosting, all you have to do is go to a web hosting service provider's website, select the type of hosting you want from the packages there, and pay for the package. What are the types of hosting? A hosting service provider usually offers to host from several types of hosting. The type of hosting depends on the server you choose to store data on for your website. There are several major types of hosting: shared hosting, dedicated hosting, VPS hosting, and cloud hosting. Number 1, shared hosting. A shared host is a host that is shared by several people on the same server. This means that the data contained in this server is not only limited to your website. Data related to other people's websites is also stored in different sections of this server. Simply, what's going on here is similar to how we save data on a hard disk divided into parts such as C, D, E, and F in a personal computer. But since it is commonly used, the user is allowed to use only a limited amount of resources on the server. This type of hosting is one of the most popular and relatively inexpensive types of hosting. Number 2, dedicated hosting. What happens here is you get your own complete server. This gives you complete control over the server. In shared hosting, we can only use the software and features that the service provider has included, but in a dedicated hosting the user can install any software or include anything they want on the server. This type of hosting is very expensive. Number 3, VPS hosting. VPS hosting is the most suitable type of hosting for someone who does not like shared hosting and does not have enough assets to buy dedicated hosting. In this case, part of a server in a data center is hosted on a separate operating system with a separate hard drive. What is really happening here is creating another virtual computer on one computer. With the space available to use, you will have the ability to do whatever you want, like a dedicated host. This is not as expensive as a dedicated host, but it's a bit more expensive than a shared host. Number 4, cloud hosting. Before we talk about what cloud hosting is, let us explain what a cloud is. A cloud is not really a physical thing. This means that if we take a server, we can say that this is a dedicated server, but the cloud cannot be shown like that. What happens in the cloud is that some of our data is stored on several computers around the world, so that we can access this data from anywhere in the world using an internet connection. Things to consider when getting a web hosting. Number 1, storage. The most important thing in web hosting is the capacity you get. Here the service providers usually offer capacities ranging from 500 megabytes to unlimited. Here it is practical to give 500 megabytes, 1 GB, or any other GB, but you may think that unlimited is not so true. Most of the time a service provider who claims to offer unlimited capacity will actually give you 25 GB or 50 GB of space. Normally the maximum capacity of a website is around 2 GB, so the customer does not feel any reduction in the capacity they provide. Service providers make sure to reserve more space as soon as the capacity of a package provided by Unlimited exceeds the amount they provide. So, it may be advantageous for you to get a package with unlimited capacity. Number 2, bandwidth. This means the amount of data you can use in a month. Here too the service providers offer packages with different sizes of bandwidth, and there are also packages with unlimited bandwidth. Here too the process of giving the unlimited capacity mentioned above takes place as they increase your bandwidth capacity as your monthly data usage increases. Even so, an unlimited package, if you purchase one which is under a limit, your website will be disabled when you exceed that bandwidth limit. Therefore, it is advisable to choose a bandwidth that is slightly higher for your website usage. Number 3, backup facility. In case of accidental loss or deletion of your stored data, it is important to back up it elsewhere to recover it. Therefore, it is vital to make sure that whether the service provider is providing a backup facility or not, and, if so, its limitations. In addition, here are the things to look for when selecting a web hosting service provider. Number 1, uptime. Server uptime is the percentage of time during which the server remains active without interruption. It is advisable to seek the services of a service provider who guarantees that 99.9% of the active time. Number 2, time spent in business. If the service provider has been in the business for many years, you can get some idea of reliability. Number 3, customers. It is important to find out how many customers the service provider is currently serving. Number 4, customer reviews. You can also get an idea of the service provider and the service provided by looking at the feedback provided by the customers who have availed of the service. Number 5, support. The service provider needs to focus on customer support. Usually, a hosting service provider should be ready to provide support 24/7 at any time. Number 6, additional services. Usually when you buy a web hosting, you can get email and many other additional services. This is why it is important to pay attention to the additional services that you are provided when you get a web hosting service provider or package. How to choose the right hosting package for you. You need to consider all of the above and choose a package. It is important to choose a host that best suits your needs. Because if your site is used by a large number of people a day, choosing a package with low capacity will not be suitable. Also, if the website is used by a small number of people, there is no benefit in getting a large capacity package. Therefore, it is important to determine the capacity, type of hosting, etc. by considering the nature of your website, the needs of the site as well as the cost you can afford. Most people want to start a small website. You can use a shared hosting plan for Google AdSense, affiliate marketing, or a small website you are creating for a company. As your website grows over time and the number of visitors to your site grows, you can move to a more efficient shared hosting or better cloud hosting or VPS hosting in all respects. If you are planning to start a large website, it may be easier for you to use cloud hosting or VPS hosting at the same time. A VPS hosting will be better if more visitors come to your website in a short period of time. So, if you have any concerns or unclear facts, please mention them below in the comment section. We'll try our best to reply to them all. That's all for today, pals. In the next video, we will explain about how to do article submission for SEO. If you are new to Webidex, please subscribe to our channel and give thumbs up to the video. And also hit the notification bell as well, and then you won't miss our upcoming videos. Before we leave, please keep in mind, don't work hard, work smart. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video. Have a great day.